Darrell, are you all right? You look a bit tired.
Just come out of board meeting. No, just straight off the treadmill. To be honest with you, we were earlier start and I forgot. I thought it was a little bit later. So yeah, apologise for the sweat, but just trying to smash out a 5k run. I got to 4k before Dan come and got me. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you breaking into your workout.
Yeah, sorry about the sweat. Yeah.
Just to start with, though, I mean, I don't take the sweater's worry about going to Portsmouth, but it's a big one, isn't it? It's a big team in this division, and it's another one of those games where you're going to be really tested.
Of course we are. We know how tough Fratton Park is as a place to play. Certainly, if the home fans get going, but we got to be there. Like I said, we've had a couple of great away results this season. And we'll need another great performance to pick up the win on Saturday. A team full of experience, fighting to get in the top 6.
You can't afford to look at their team sheet though and go, well, they've played in the Championship or whatever. You've got to take it to them, really, haven't you? Like you having other away games against big.
That's what we'll be doing. We're taking the game to them, go in there, try and win the game. That's for sure. Get on the front foot, play our football, and produce a better performance than Saturday, which was a little bit out of character from the previous 5, in my personal opinion. Everyone has opinions on the game, but we certainly poor on Saturday, so let's try and get that performance spot on Saturday.
Fratton Park can be an intimidating atmosphere as well. Is it as much about the players dealing with that as it is the players on the pitch as well?
It is, but we've got experienced players in our team. We've got players that have got a bit of know-how in the team as well, mixed in with players that are learning the trade and trying to get better, so we have a good mixture of that. Ellis Harrison used to play at Portsmouth, so obviously knows the football club very well. So, but like I said, we'll be going there on the front foot. No doubt we'll take a few fans down there, so we'll try and put on a good performance for the hard-paying punters that are spending a lot of money in the cars and for the match ticket.
Derby, Plymouth, these are places you've been to and won, and you've played well. Are these tests really useful for helping mould the squad and development when you are up against sides of that stature?
It is, and I go right to the start of the season, learning a hell of a lot about the division, learning a hell of a lot about players, because obviously when you get promoted, obviously through the playoffs, there's a carry on for players that are still under contract. And you want to give them the best opportunity to show me what they're capable of at this level. So learning plenty as we go. There's the real great togetherness in the group that's been there all season. I've seen that. They're a pleasure to manage, and we just want to keep getting them better.
And as we say, that those tests are really different, aren't they? Because Burton last week were a team that had been in non-league. This is a team that's been in the Premier League. You're getting a real wide curve and scope of experiences for this group, aren't you?
Yeah, certainly. Like you said there, Burton come from the non-league system, but I even dipped the toe in the Championship, to be fair to them. And obviously Portsmouth have been a Premier League club, and it's a massive football club that needs to get out the division. I'm sure they're under no illusions there of the support base, their infrastructure, of where they are. They have to get out of League One and be aiming to be in the Championship to get to the Premier League, because that's where they've been and that's where they've traditionally played a lot of their football.
When you talked about the difference in finances the other week, I had a look at the top 10 the other day and thought, well, they sort themselves out really, don't they? That is the size of the task you're up against, isn't it? Because the top 10 places are all either ex-Championship or Premier League clubs. That must be really tough as a manager to think, well, we've got to try and crack that eventually.
Tough but exciting.
Yeah.
Tough but exciting, because I'm excited of what we're trying to do as a football club, where we're trying to go. I'm excited to build and challenge those top 10 teams in the division, and not just challenge them but beat them. That has to be our short-term and long-term game to get ourselves in the mix, to be very competitive in this division. And like I said, we've learnt plenty this season of what the division's about, and with 9 games to go, 27 points, we want to try and finish as high as we possibly can in the table. And I know the players mentioned it in the changing room of the day. They're pushing for a top half finish. I think that'd be a great achievement. So we need to get plenty of points on the board this remaining 9 games.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about, something you touched on last week about the importance of that development squad and going forward, how that could help. Thinking about what you said there, how effective are those teams in bridging that gap from academy to first team, and as you said, eventually that longer term, establishing yourself in this division and going further?
Yeah, I think I'd be very surprised if not all Championship clubs have a development team. 50-60% of teams in League One have a development team, so to go through the divisions and try and get out higher up in the pyramid you need a good backbone, you know, and there's a lot of good work being done in the academy. But the goal from an 18-year-old to then being potentially playing in the first team at League One level against the likes of those top 10 teams that you've just mentioned and going straight in is a tough ask, you know. And at the minute, I'm having to judge our younger players to say, can they handle League One football? Can they play 10 appearances, come off the bench in League One games? And the gulf from 17, 18 is a massive gulf to be able to do that. And they have to be a certain calibre and quality of player. So having that development team that we'll probably look at in the next 2-3 years bridges that gap and gives players that 1-2 more years of development to get games to fill out sometimes. You know, you look at centre halves traditionally, the centre halves get better with experience in games and men's football and playing development football. Goalies do as well. So that's the reason why teams have development teams. And hopefully we get ourselves in a picture as a football club in the next 2-3 years to get there.
Darrell, obviously they've made a change in management. Do you see any difference to when they were here last? Because when we saw them here last, they were potentially a team that were, you know, comfortable on the ball, waiting for the gap, and we saw maybe the false number 9 got the goal that separated the result, really. Is that the way you see they may line up this time, or do you see a change in the way they're going to be under the new management?
I did. I've watched the last 2-3 games. They have a mixture. They can do both. They've got a great presence up front in Bishop. Scored a couple of goals at the weekend. Used to be at Leamington, went to Accrington. I think he's a top centre forward. Sean Raggett at the back, championship experience. So they've got good players. Marlon Pack in midfield, injured, might be coming back at the weekend. So they've got abundance of talent in this squad that can mix the game up. And I'm sure they're disappointed they're not in the hunt this season. Well, not far off it now, to be fair. With a few weeks ago we were looking at it and probably there was only one place available in the playoffs. Now there's a couple of teams that are having a little bit of a wobble in there, and the likes of your Peterborough, your Portsmouth are chasing it down. So and Wickham. So there's plenty to play for Portsmouth, but we've got to be concerned about our own performance and how we go about it.
And that's all that's in your mind, isn't it, really? I know you respect the opposition, but that's always in your mind, the way your team is going to set up and perform against the quality.
It is, definitely. I think we took it to most away games in this division, and we'll continue to try and do that. It's the way I like to play the game, on the front foot and create plenty of scoring opportunities, and we're trying to do that tomorrow.
And your preparation is right, you're going down early and you're probably going to have a training session down there or something of that note, Darrell. You've had your session, but hopefully the boys are
We've had a really good, tough week. It's been a good week, and we'll get down there so it doesn't turn into a 6-7 hour journey. Then we'll get in the pool, we'll have a stretch of our legs, get in the pool. We've done a lot of our work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and we'll make sure we're as fresh as we possibly can be and get down there as quick as we can.
Cheers, Darrell.
Darrell, there's some frustration after the Burton game with the way they managed to sort of kill the game and time waste. And this isn't having a go at Burton, but I just wonder, as a manager, would you be in favour of refs getting the cards out earlier, basically, for time waste?
I think I don't want to sound double standard here,
Yeah.
you know, and in game management. I think if you're a manager and you sit in front of a camera and you're going to say, well, we don't do that when we're winning. We do. So it's winning. You know, the game's about winning, and I'm certainly not going to criticise it. The referee has to control that for both teams. Has to control how we manage that, and I feel more for punters, to be honest with you, because they want to see a football game. They want to see a free-flowing, high-tempo football game, and I really can see in the future being a big clock and ball in play. I really can. I think it's getting to that stage where the ball can be such a variation of times of ball in play, you know, and for me, round about the 55-60 minute mark would be the right time for the ball in play. So I think that'll come in the game. I'm not sure when, but I'm certainly sure something they're looking at to be able to introduce. So paying punters get the value for money. You know, they don't want to watch a game that's the ball's in play for 40 minutes. They want to see the game, the ball in play. They want to see the clock. So it'd be interesting to see how that moves forward in the game as a whole.
So in the meantime, if the refs made clear, look, I'm going to get my cards out for time waste. I'm thinking of the ref in the England game last night. was pretty hot on it in that. As long as you know what's going to happen, would that make things easy?
It's the consistency of knowing, isn't it? You know, you go from one game to another where the consistency levels of how that game's refereed, shall we say, changes all the time, and that's what we thrive for as managers, consistent, because you want to work that plan off that, if that makes sense. Yeah. So hopefully there gets more consistency likes of that for the punters.
You mentioned experienced players in your team. I just wanted to ask you about Dave Worrell and how big an influence is he on the rest of the group and in terms of his sort of performance?
Quality. I love Wazza. He's a great lad. Trains every day, maximum, every time he plays a game. And I think he's had a really good season. I think he's been very effective. I think he does what he does. I think we've known over a period of time what David Worrell does. And he's stepped up a lot this year, and I've been really pleased with a lot of his performances. And like I say, as a character, I can't speak highly enough of the guy. And
just last one from me. It came out yesterday about a sports campus potentially in Burslem and the club's involvement in that. Just give me your thoughts on that.
It's brilliant when we're talking in these manners, because that's what we need moving forward to try and compete at this level and try and get in the championship. You know, the word championship's always going to be talked about when you're a League One team. It's always going to be in the back front of people's minds because this club used to be there in 20 years time. But you know, the infrastructure has to be better, and it's great that us as a football club we're looking at those things to improve it.